Hi, it's Leigh Keckner on the Messy Imperfect Life with Leigh podcast, and I'm so tickled because I have Tom Arnold today. Tom, welcome.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, and
Um,
your podcast.
I'm so happy to have you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be had by you.
Really?
Well, I like, yeah, we talk about it occasionally off.
No, I want to hear more about what that
Well,
means
I'm
exactly.
single. I haven't had a date in 3 years, and I know you. You've been honest about sharing about your romantic
Yeah.
stuff, but
Fallout?
I mean, I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. I'm a single dad, so your kids are older. It just doesn't. It's not an attractive package. Plus, I've gained about 100 pounds during COVID, but I am working on that. But it's wonderful to be with you. I'm so excited about your career. I knew you
Mm.
before when you only dreamed of doing stuff like this, and now look at you, killing it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, back when I was kind of just doing stuff all the time, just
I remember
talking,
that. Yeah, I remember.
right?
Yeah,
And you would send me the sweetest messages, and I want you to know that it was really meaningful to me. Like
yeah.
you were kind of just joking around and saying stuff, but I was always like, Tom Arnold sees me.
No, I wasn't joking. I was dead serious that you should be doing things like this. And I'd say you're a lunatic. You need to take this to the next level. There's something about you. You just, a lot of people talk about doing a lot of things, and but I was like, oh no, you've hit all the bells and whistles from your personality, who you are. Because I've always found you incredibly funny, and not necessarily to ha ha funny, but funny because you get into stuff and you really got to do it that way. And so I've always been your fan for year as you know for years.
I love that so much. You are so precious.
Oh.
Like it means the world to me because I think you are ha ha funny, and
Mm,
I think you're darling,
mm,
and you know, you have so many of the same things that you're saying about me because you are darling, even though you said you gained 100 pounds,
yeah.
which you can't really see because you have black t-shirt on.
Yeah, I put it on first. No, but I have to say you could be haha funny, you could be darling, but you have to have that other thing that's like that just makes no sense to other people. Like you have to be crazy. When I first started comedy for zero money or $15 or traveling 200 miles, sleeping on somebody's couch, I loved it. You have to love whatever it is because I came from a place in Iowa, a farm community where people did not do stand-up comedy or act in movies. So, and I always believed,
Wow.
oh, I'm going to do this thing, which is crazy. But you have to have that extra thing where whatever it is you want to do, because it's going to be hard. You have to also love it, love the whole
All of
experience,
it.
and love all that. And most people are smart enough to go, yeah, oh sure I'd like that, but oh that seems like a lot of work or a lot of. I think I'll be wore out by, or I'll emotionally be destroyed because it is you do there are some hard days, but I think you when you have that, then you rise above and I'm sure Oprah Winfrey, people are not like, yeah, you're going to be Oprah Winfrey. And she had that blind faith in herself, and
Hmm.
as a lot of people do. So, like you and me.
You and
I don't
me.
have blind
And
faith. I don't have blind faith, but yeah.
you know what? It is. I am a little bit crazy.
Oh yeah,
And people are always like, my kids still say, can you just be normal? Like we get in an elevator, like, can you please one time be normal? I was like, I don't know what the hell that means.
yeah. Well, what are you doing
Like
at the what did you do in the elevator? Did
I
you
talk to everyone.
Did you toot? No. Okay. Yeah, that is weird.
I
That's
talk to everyone. Maybe I'll touch someone or,
yeah.
you know,
That was I had a grandmother like that who was wonderful, but I was always like I didn't have a mother growing up, but I had a grandmother who was like that, and it was so embarrassing because
that,
she would dress the way she wanted to dress, and she would chat it up with people, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, what is?"
wait. Was there a little part of you though that thought that was cool? A little bit like,
Well,
grandma's
I
just
do
got
now,
it. She's just,
when I think about her now, because she was so loving. And, also the first
hmm.
boobs I ever saw was one night she leaned over to kiss me goodnight, and I was staying at her house, and she had a nightgown on. I'd never seen boobs growing up because I didn't have a mother in the house. But there's that too. But she was so good to people, and people really loved
Mm.
her, and she got a lot out of it because my grandfather was the opposite. He was
Mm.
crabby. He was this, and I think she really also enjoyed being bubbly in front of him because it made,
Showing him what it could be like.
yeah, and to show just to punish him because he just did not want to talk, and she just would go extra extra hard. So you do what you can to survive, but also there's people that genuinely like people, and I found myself appreciating things more the last few years, appreciating people, talking to people. I
Mm.
think when you go for a long time and you're famous or whatever you are, you kind of pull back from,
Yeah.
you're very perfunctory. Oh, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Tom Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. But I found I've gotten a lot of joy and information by talking to people, especially parents. And so I'm
Mm.
trying to become a better listener.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's something that, like, I'm a big talker, and also my story in the past, but I had like super ADD.
Hmm.
And so I always like would interrupt because I was like, I have to say it right now or I'll forget it. Right. And then people are like, I'm talking. Like, that was so rude. But I'm like, I just had to get it. And they're like, it pisses people off. But I have practiced listening so much.
Hmm.
And what I found about listening is not only do I really hear things now, but I don't have to think what's coming up next if I'm listening full on. Because
Hmm.
all I have to do then is I'm out of my head spinning. What the hell am I going to say next? It's just listening and reacting, responding. Not reacting usually, but responding to what was just said. It's so much easier.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you got to in my case, enjoy people, enjoy different people, and
Mm.
kind of get it, because we live one life, and this is it. And if we spend all our time hiding from people or doing or not really enjoying what's already out there, when we go out, I don't venture out all the time. I just filmed for 6 weeks in Italy, and
Oh,
nobody was speaking English. But I found it. I did venture out. I did leave my hotel room when I was at work. I had to force myself to go out there and just kind of watch people because they're everywhere there, and listen and figure out. Okay, that's an American. I can tell by the way they're dressed. They're dressed terrible,
yeah.
like me. And but you just kind of watch people, and you see people that are couples and they're cute together, and people with their kids, and people.
Mm.
And you just got to take it in, and it's something that I think you could miss out on. I have my life is much smaller, and at the same time much bigger than it ever has been. It's smaller financially. It's smaller. We have a smaller house. I have a smaller, you know, but because I have these kids, it's big and it's on every day.
Mm.
It is on every day. There is
Every
something
day.
and things to do and people to listen to and figure things out and little. So it's very exciting in that way where you get to parent and see your kids growing up and be hands on, and then you realize, well, this other stuff that I always thought, well, I had a 15,000 square foot house, which is dumb. I've also been divorced 4 times. So if you've been divorced four
I
times,
didn't know four.
oh yeah, well, every
I know
time,
two.
yeah. There was two other ones, very nice people, that's a I never dated, which is a
You
mistake.
just jumped in, right?
Yeah, and I did it before I moved here. I had 4 fiancées, and then
What?
4 wives, and so it's something I've done since high school. Yeah,
So it's just your pattern. You just jump in,
it
figure
is.
it out later.
It has been my pattern, and I think I just wanted a family of my own.
Yeah.
And you grow up in a lot of chaos like I did, but I have that with my kids, and so maybe it's on me that I was also looking for this unconditional love that you get from children from another person who is
Okay. Do you know right now the key is to get that unconditional love here within yourself?
yeah,
Because every time we look outside of ourselves for it,
yeah,
it's never gonna, it can't ever be what we really need. which
Yeah.
is self-love. And as much as that sounds like people talk about that all the time, that's changed my life.
Yeah,
Is
I've heard you talk about it and read you, and I believe that's true. I think, but there are days when you're, at least me, when you have to piggyback off other people's love for you, and that meaning
oh
my
yeah.
children, where you're like, wait a
Oh
minute,
yeah.
I'm not feeling good today about myself and this and that, and from the moment they're born, they don't care if I'm doing a movie or doing
No.
whatever because I am the guy. I
Yeah.
am their one father, and it's on. And so whatever pity party I want to have for myself, oh woe is me, this and that, I still have to face the fact that two human beings unconditionally love me.
Yeah.
So that takes out some of my nonsense, but I also get a lot of self-esteem from being a good father and self-love from that because
Mm.
I am very proud of that. I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud
Mm.
of who I am now and what I do on a daily basis. And I make mistakes. No,
Oh, I do
and some are
constantly.
and some are just to see what happens. With kids, my thing about my kids is this is their house. We live here. We have a small house with a big pool, basically, and you try to keep it organized like adults. And I grew up in a world where kids were not allowed in the living room. Kids are not
Wow.
allowed in the house in Iowa, and the kids had to play outside. And that's great, but it's also like I always knew this isn't my house. Like if I touch something,
Yeah.
shit's gonna hit the fan around here, and so But it's also for me, it's helped me because I made sure that I didn't assume I knew what my kids were up to. In other words, my son, who reminds me of me, but he's not me. So I don't know what his, if something happens here in the house, I every time I've assumed that he's done it or that he's
Oh
whatever,
gosh, I did that with one of my kids.
yeah, I've been wrong. So, we do. Yeah, I'm very grateful that the kids don't fib to me too much. we also we also have a thing we do here because we have a lot of cameras. There's 21 cameras inside, outside. You
Just
know,
safe, just being
just to say,
safe.
yeah, in case their mom shows up. But no, but
Uh-oh.
we'll watch once in a while. He did a thing a couple weeks ago where he took the pool, the pool net skimmer. He cleaned the pool, which was excellent. But then he took it out by a tree in the back and kind of started testing it to see how strong it was. And then he just
Right.
whacked it and broke it. Then he came running straight into the house to my room and said, "Oh, the wind broke the pool net." And I said, "Okay, wow, that's an amazing wind. Let's watch this together and see what really happened out there." So we sit down and watch, and I make a link for him, and he apologizes, and you know,
Oh, you just turned on the camera.
yeah, we do people's court here, and it can be about me too. If they say, "Dad, you
Wait,
said this,"
that is hilarious.
yeah, they say, "Dad, you said this," or "You were yelling," or and Sasha, who works with the kids, and there was I just got home from somewhere, and I was in there trying to order food. I'm not as tech fluent as my kids are, and all of a sudden, Sasha comes into the room and goes, Jax was trying to smother Quinn, which is his little sister, and and then Jax came in. I said, "Let me order the food first." They're all hyped up. The Jack's like, "Well, Sasha hit me with her shoe," and I was like, this is. I said, "No hitting, no throwing." And so I come out and we watch the video of what happened, and it's maybe the funniest thing. Sasha was eating a salad, and then Jax and Quinn were wrestling on the floor. And Jax, he did put the beanbag chair on top of her for a second. But Sasha, she doesn't put her salad down. She gets a running start and gets one of her flip flops and throws it at Jackson and the other one. And then after they broke it up, then Jax took the dog ball. This is from the far end of the house, and Sasha was standing there. And it was kind of calm, and he threw it trying to hit her right here. Anyway, she needed a break, but we all sat
Wait, wait.
together when she came back. We all sat together and watched that and said, "What could we do better?" Because she also didn't remember exactly. The fact she didn't put her salad down is shows a lack of. If she's really worried about the kid and she got her salad, she instead put it down, take her shoe. Um, but we all could have done better on that, and so we all sit and watch it together and
I
discuss.
love that so much.
Yeah,
That's so damn funny that you said people's court. You're like, all right, everyone gather around. Let's push play.
yeah.
Let's see what really happened.
And I've been wrong. Let me tell you something. I've been wrong, and I have misplaced things, and I have been louder than I thought I
Yeah.
was. Because I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2",
Yeah.
185 pounds. So that's 6'2",
Damn. You're in shape.
260, 260. Um, and so these kids are little people. They're so
I know.
I tend not to get upset, but once in a while I'll think it's
Of
something
course.
dangerous, and then I'll yell or
And
swear.
also, I think also it's like we have so much going on in our adult life, in our minds, and so much is going on that oftentimes when I really yell at my kid,
Hmm.
I'm upset about something else.
Of course.
Like I'm walking in the room mad, right?
Hmm.
And then she does something. I'm like, what did you just do? I told you to pick. She's like, why are you yelling at me? I'm like, oh, because I'm mad at hell as hell about something else and I'm taking it out on you. And she's like,
Yeah.
all right.
No.
I go, sorry. you
Yeah.
know?
I try not to do that. I also try to make sure they don't take things out on each other for the same reason that my son isn't mad about something else. He's taking out his sister, or vice versa, because his sister,
But isn't he a lot bigger?
he's a lot bigger, but she can make him cry at any, like, she's she'll do a thing where he likes to lay out all his cars or his elves or whatever he collects,
Right.
and she'll walk into the middle of it and grab the main one and run.
Oh,
Which
so she's setting it up to get beat up,
yeah,
to get tackled.
I want to make sure, and he knows he can't tackle her. That's the thing. There are rules here, but he is so big. He's a head taller than all the other kids. He's a
Wow.
big, thick kid, and
What
uh,
grade's he in?
but
How old is he?
he's in second, and she's in
Oh,
kindergarten.
they're so
But Jackson,
little.
yeah, but then we talk it out, and because I also feel like this house, growing up here, is a laboratory for every relationship they'll ever have. So the way they treat each other or allow the other to treat them is
Right.
their relationships in life. And I try to, we they're usually very loving kids, but when they fight, and I'm the oldest of seven,
I
and
was
this,
going to say,
yeah,
I saw you had a bunch of siblings. The oldest is seven. Were they all boys?
well, there are four boys and two girls, and believe me, my younger brothers will tell you some, some stories about me. There was a pecking order, and there was, and my one of my sisters was the Queen of Meth. There's her documentary series over there on Discovery Plus, and
How neat. She has a series about it.
yeah, it's a pretty good documentary series too. I think it did a really good job, and I've had five members of my family go to prison. Three of them,
Wow.
three of them died in prison, but Lori is out and she's doing well, and I'm very proud that she's doing well. She did a couple of
Oh.
prison terms.
So,
So the girls in my family were as tough as the boys, is what I'm trying to say.
right.
Not tougher. Yeah.
A couple times you mentioned your mom and that she was absent. So your parents got divorced. And you were raised with your dad, right?
Mhm. Yeah, they got divorced when I was 4. My sister was 3. My brother was 1. She stayed in, and my dad got us. My mom was a major alcoholic, drug addict.
Oh,
Not, but the beautiful thing, and when she died, I didn't go to her funeral. We were having a thing, but the day afterwards, I went to her grave, and I read this letter because where I live, where I'm from, where I live in here, you have resentments are good,
no.
and gratitude is good, but you have to deal
Yeah.
with your resentment. So I'd written a letter of all the things I was mad at her about, which are leaving us, whatever. But then on the other side, I wrote all the things I'm grateful for, which turned out to be the same,
Hmm.
that she left us with my
Wow.
dad because she knew he's not a maniac. And, she went on to be married 7 times and just had a rough life. And
Hmm.
so my dad, who was 22 when I was
Wow.
4, my sister's 3, my brother's 1, he raised us. And so, I always remember feeling safe and loved. And, I had 2 grandmothers who really dug me. and I highly recommend
Mm.
that to anybody. In fact, I may have been both of their favorite. And just
Oh,
every kid deserves to be somebody's favorite. Every person,
that's
because you
right.
carry that with you like an extra $100 in your wallet
Right?
life, you know.
You know what I
So
thought was, I was going to say something cool about my dad.
yeah,
All of us, there's six of us, and I was raised in Kansas City. We're both kind of have big families,
hmm
a little bit crazy, a
hmm
lot of drinking. My mom was an alcoholic.
hmm
But I was going to say about that.
your
Oh,
dad,
my dad. So what was really cool is we all thought we were my dad's
yeah,
favorite.
that's the goal.
I knew I really was because he
Yeah,
lit up when he talked to me and he
yeah,
said cool stuff to me like, out of all my kids, you're the only one I don't have to worry about.
yeah.
And you have more balls than anyone I've ever met. I was like,
Wow.
I have balls. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dad.
Jesus.
You know, that like lit me up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought that was super cool that he had that way to make us each feel so loved.
Yeah.
And he was so good. Like we loved him so much.
Yeah.
You know, he beat the shit out of me. So he wasn't like he was
Yeah.
perfect, but he had
Yeah.
such a good heart. And that's
Yeah.
what happened to him. So when he got rage, he would spank me.
Yeah.
But
So
right?
that's no good. That's
No. But at the same time, like as I got older looking back,
mhm.
I was like, holy hell. Like he was married to this alcoholic woman. He had 6 kids. He was chief of staff. He'd come home and then she would just berate him and then he'd beat the shit out of me because I was usually the one in trouble, right? Acting all myself. And but I was like, he has so much on his plate. He did so many good things with us. Like I understand, like it's not okay that he hit me. Nobody should be hit like that, but I get it. I understand. Like he was doing the best he
Mhm.
could with what he knew.
Yeah. I mean, I think that people, especially that generation, felt like, especially if your dad, he's got an alcoholic wife, he's got all these people in the house, that you have to go military on. You have to have some in your mind. You're like, I need to be, the
This will bring
drill
order.
sergeant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different kinds of hitting. I can tell you from my experience. My dad never got spanked his whole life by my grandmother. And in
Is
fact,
she the one you saw her boobs?
yeah, she ironed his underwear all the way through college. Like he came from that world, and so I didn't know that world until the spanking, the hitting, the punching, until my dad married our next door neighbor when I was 10. But he started dating her before that, and she came from a very violent world, and it
Oh
was
no.
it was madness. And my dad, I think it was a mistake, and he even on his deathbed he said he's sorry, but he just turned it over to her because now not only did they have our 3 kids, but her 2 kids, and then they had 2 more together. And I was the oldest, and she was like, "I'm going to break this guy." And
Oh gosh, dang
so,
it.
but the good news is I don't spank my kids. I mean, I
Right.
use whatever, I'll throw their stuff on the roof if they're taken away from them. But there's just never a reason to do
To
that.
hit.
There's
Oh
never,
yeah.
a reason. And I mean, I yelled at my son a couple times where I saw fear in his eye, and that's enough. That's bad enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. It didn't teach me anything. It did piss me off,
yeah.
you know?
Well, they taught you to not to remember what that felt like, and if you're
Yeah.
a lazy parent, you do a lot of lazy parent like that's there, but there's a million other things to do, and it takes time,
Mhm.
and
Yes, it
that's the thing.
does.
A lot of parents don't have. They say they don't have the time, but they have the time to do their hobbies or their job, which
Right,
are
right.
not as important. This is really the most important job you'll ever have. So why not take the time and focus
Wow.
on this parenting thing? You
You
know.
know what's interesting because I did not expect this from you at all. I didn't
Mhm.
expect you to be talking about this. It's really like conscious, like you care so deeply and you're aware of things and
Mhm.
setting kind of a culture up for them going, you guys, this is a primary relationship. Like when my kids are mean to each other, I'm like, you guys, here we're supposed to have each other's backs.
Mhm.
Like this is where we have each other, right? Then you can go out there and people can be dicks or whatever and you can come back to your safe place. Don't make this place
Right.
a place where we're fighting, being mean to each other. Like,
Yeah, well, I've said this before. It might not be the best thing to say, but no one will ever love you as much as your sister. I said, this is, you go out there and you meet people and they love
they'll
you.
come and
No
go.
one
Yeah.
will ever love you as much as me and your sister do. So, um, there's a woman who I really admire named Dr. Shafali, and,
Oh, I know her.
yeah, and when she came to my
Wait,
house.
I met her with you.
Yeah, was that at the
Remember?
house?
No, we went somewhere. It was me, you, and it was Ashley,
Yeah,
and we went
went to hear
somewhere.
her speak. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like some small thing.
Yeah, but she came to the house too. Were you there for that? I can't remember.
Now I'm pissed. I don't think
Well,
so.
that you can blame Ashley on that. But I really,
She's
uh,
great.
she's great, and
So
the
great.
thing, the thing that stuck with me most is these kids come to us fully formed, and it's
Mm,
our job to figure out who they are and protect them, of course,
mm.
but then facilitate their dreams.
Yes.
And once you have to keep going back, because it's so easy to project my dreams or who I
Hmm.
was when I was 8
Hmm.
or 6. And even though I probably don't really remember who I was, but I think, oh,
Me
that's,
either.
you know, but
Well, you know what we do is a lot of parents bring their bag of shit, right? That
yeah,
they've carried their whole life, and then
yeah,
they look at their kid, and so often, like that helicopter parents, like they're so overly into it
hmm
that, and they feel like I'm with my kid. But I'm like, your kid, like your kid's on their own path. And it is, my first son had the most struggles, Charlie. And I was constantly trying to fix everything, like get him the right medicine, the right doctor, the right friends, the right school, and then all of a sudden I was like, holy hell,
hmm
if I could have done it again, I would have just watched him,
hmm
and helped him up and loved him just where he was.
yeah. Well, I think that I understand that. I see a lot of that behavior from fathers or mothers, but from the minute I was 54 when I became a father, and it's something I always said, oh, I really want to become a father, and it's a good thing I did because it's a lot of work, but I
It's
could
a lot of
tell,
work.
you know,
And it never ends.
but in the old days, parents stuck together with bad marriages for the kids.
Right.
And I think that I knew pretty quickly that this heightened everything. And when you have a different style of raising kids, for instance, you could have, my ex-wife could have had her style, and then I had mine, and it does, and I support that. Like, she was like the right doctor, the right this, send him to the right thing, get him out, And I was like, no, they're here. I'm gonna spend as much time with them as I can, and I was fine. I think that's a good balance. But when the other person says, no, your way, it's we need to be on a time at this time, and schedule is important, but I could
Yeah.
just see it building up. And then we had our daughter that I realized, oh, this is too much. There is too much, in this house. I'm very grateful that because of her, I'm a father, and but
There's
I
too
said
much
this
what?
isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Yeah,
There was too much what with your
there
daughter?
was just too much anxiety, and
Oh,
I think that that's sort of how she was raised. And she had a nanny, and you know, uh, and she had anxiety. And having kids, I mean, you share a central nervous system with a baby for 9 months. They're born, and then you're up late, and it's I
it's a
tried to
lot.
it is a lot, and I tried to. I changed every diaper. I did that. I did too, but there's no comparison to what a man does. But you could just feel this frenetic energy in the house, like, and I think that when you have kids, that's no good. That's a
No, yeah.
non-starter. So I
You
think
know
that what happened is
what?
that she probably realized that too, and wanted to get out of the marriage, which she made it very clear. And I said, well, yeah, that's great. Let's do that. Let's do that. I'm with you. I am with you. But
Right.
let's do it like adults. we'll take our time. We'll sell the house. We'll divide everything up. We'll not talk about it, in front of the kids. We'll talk to the kids when it's the time. Although, my daughter has never seen her mom and I hug, and so,
Hmm.
but of course it went completely sideways. It was awful, and
Right.
the legal system and awful. But it's more calm now. Knock on wood. But who knows at any moment. But my daughter. This is really important because once their mom moved out of the house, she would say, and she was so small, she'd say, "How did I get here?" Like she genuinely wanted to know. She's so smart because in the Disney world, there's a king and a queen. There's a
So she
prince.
really meant like, how did I get on the
Yeah,
planet?
yeah. And so I took a week, and I have, of course, every moment she's been on the planet from her birth to, and I think that I always like to say, I think we're so close because my ex-wife had a tough birth with her, a tough
Mm.
C-section where they had trouble getting the bait fighting. And so she was out. So for the first 4 hours of my daughter's life, and this is embarrassing a little bit, but they're like, take your shirt off. And this is over at Cedar Sinai with there's other people there,
I
and
would
put
have
the
said that
baby on you
too.
and go skin to skin for uh, you know,
Oh,
uh, 4 hours. And so I
that's
always
so
say,
sweet.
yeah. And I also was very cognizant of my son takes up a lot of air, and he was the first kid. And sometimes you go, okay, that she got to do everything that he did and got the same amount of love and attention. But she really didn't understand. And she would say, so we started from when she was born and how much before I did an animated thing of her mom and I, mom grew up in Denver or whatever. I grew up in Iowa. And our whole dream was to have her and her brother. That's the
Oh.
one thing we had in common. And we dreamed
Hmm.
of it, and then it happened. And that's, so, and that's really, true that we had nothing in common. But that's a big thing to have in common. But then she came from a place of love.
Mm.
I mean, they really.
That's right. And they know that, and that's so sweet to take that time to share it. That was so beautiful.
Well, it's also good for me to remind myself.
Yeah, right?
Things get hot and heavy during.
Yeah.
I've been again divorced 4 times, but divorced with children because is so can be so bad because people know, oh, this is the thing you care about the most. I'm going to push these buttons. I'm going to do
Yeah.
this thing. I'm going to withhold this. I'm going to, and, because people can get very crappy during divorce in general.
You
I think
know,
you should get divorced from someone before you marry them
right,
because
see
then
how it's
you'll know who they are.
yeah, see how it's going to be. Do I want to go
Yeah.
through this with you? Because it
Yeah.
might be going that way. Yeah, with mine, David and I are about to sign. Like it's not over yet, but he has some anger and is kind of directed at me.
Hmm.
But I've made this decision to not be a part of it. Like I know that's not.
Hmm.
It used to be on me, but now it's not. I'm like that's his own thing, but I'm still kind of his focus when he's mad, talking about me and stuff. And sometimes I'll hear my son say something to me, and I'm like, oh, that was his father. Like my son would never speak that way to me. And then I was like this, I'm not even going to fight it. I don't want to get involved in it. Like I'm going to let him say what he's saying, and I'm just going to love my kids and not get in it. And then one day, when it's over, I could maybe talk about it. But I don't want to take it anywhere nasty, and I don't want to get in it. It's interesting. It's
Well, let me
interesting.
tell you, I'll tell you a mistake my dad made because my mom used to show up and she'd show up at Christmas drunk and just, and do these things, or she'd say, I'm picking you up and not pick me up. I'd be waiting in the yard. And she'd
Hmm.
do these other things. And my dad just laughed because he did find her amusing, but he would just laugh. And that was a mistake because I knew my mom was a lunatic. Like, she's not a mom. Because,
Right.
you see moms, you go, oh, that is not her. So I never had any, I never thought, well, that what if we were mom and son? No. But my sister did. My sister, who was a year and a half younger, she worshiped her. And she ended up moving in with my mom when she was 14. My mom made her marry a pedophile when my sister was 14. My mom drove her to Missouri to marry this
Why?
notorious 22-year-old pedophile in our town.
Why?
Because my mom they all got drunk and they went. That just wouldn't have happened in my dad's house. But she was like, I got to move in with mom. She's cool. And by the way, I was living with her mom too because I didn't want any rules. I wanted
Yeah.
to drink. I wanted to grow my fucking hair. You
Yeah.
know. So, but something I do, and you can't, you don't want to put the kids in the middle of a
No.
situation. But when something happens that's inappropriate, I do this. Like, their mom show up, beat on the doors, or beat on, or do something, or uh, in front of the kids, just act. And I take a moment and I go, what just happened was not okay. I don't treat people like that. I don't. You treating people like that, and I don't want anybody treating people like that. And I just want you to know that wasn't okay. And we take it for a second, and then we move on.
Yeah,
But
you just
those,
acknowledge it, which
yeah,
is
you acknowledge
huge.
it. Yeah,
Instead of just acting like it didn't happen, it's like, yeah, that was scary. Or,
yeah.
yeah, it's like uh, I was on the iPad with Eve. She was at Dave's house, and I heard Dave screaming in the back, like scary screaming
Mm-hmm,
at my son. And
mm-hmm.
I felt it in my body here on an iPad. And my daughter was just like pausing till it was over. But I just like, I said, she's like, it's whatever. I said, no, that's not okay. Like, it's never okay to speak to someone that, no matter how mad you are, that's not okay. Like, you know what? I don't want them to even get in the pattern of, I guess that happens. I'm like, no, that's
Right.
not okay.
Well, I think also, when you hear something on the phone, I mean, I always like to have eyeballs on stuff, and you certainly, you do say that's not okay, but you also, um, I mean, you want to do it your way so well that it translates. And I love Dave Keckner,
I do
but
too.
he's as I speak from that I have issues, he has issues. And to get around that, this divorce is not like he's not like me. It's not his fault. So whatever it is that he's putting on you, it's bullshit. And that he will needs to knock on wood, get to that next spot where you're like, oh, of course. And this is where, I need to focus on me, taking care of
Mm,
me,
yeah.
because like him, we have similar issues.
Yeah.
I just am on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it, and he can do the same, and it just takes a. I'm not saying he's never going to yell because I've yelled before too, and
No, no, it's not
styles
that.
are going to be
It's rage. It's
yeah,
rage. It's not yelling.
but yeah, rage is no good.
Yeah.
But you do when you get healthy yourself, you do have less rage.
Yeah, of course.
you
Right?
know, and this is a frenetic time.
Yeah.
I could not wait to get divorced. I'm going to tell you something. My last ex said I want a divorce I hate you. I want a divorce, and I said let's do it. And then she would, didn't want to sign the paper, and I was like, oh no, we're this has gone on too long. This is like I tried every therapy, I've done everything, and I knew I have done whatever I could here, but it's got
Why
to happen.
why do you think you get divorced? Like the first time, here's my question, because I always believe like learn from whatever it is that's showing up, good and bad. Like what's working right now? I want more of this. What the hell happened? So as soon as our divorce was, he moved out, I was like, what was my part?
Of
Like,
course,
what did I do? Oh,
of
wow. I
course,
didn't even realize I did this
yeah,
pattern. I could see how that would make him feel that way.
yeah,
Right. And I started immediately working on it because when my next man comes, I'm not
yeah,
going to do that shit.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's really Of course you do. It's never very seldom is it 100%, 0%. I mean, there's some.
It's
My thing is
50-50.
yeah,
you
but
know,
my thing is always like, don't break the big rules. You just don't break the big
what are
rules.
your big rules?
Violence, cheating, this, that, or
Yeah.
whatever rules
Yeah.
are you set. There are some shit you just don't do, and then
Right.
everything else is negotiable if you have each other's backs. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, if you're on each other's side,
Yeah.
because personalities change and people. It's shocking that my grandparents were each married for 60 years. That seems they didn't sleep in the same rooms. They didn't,
Hmm.
marriages, and people change. And women, my experience is the women change. They all of a sudden look around one day and go, oh, I don't need that fucking guy. Why am I doing this?
Well, I
Why am
also
I
think it's this. I think that you get attracted to someone, right? To come
yeah.
together. You have this attraction. But I think that marriage now, for me, when I think about it, marriage is, and I probably heard this from Marianne Williamson or something, but marriage is where two people are attracted to each other so they can come together to trigger each other so they can heal, right? So we're always mad at the other person, but really they're triggering something in us that's old stuff that we can look at ourselves and go, oh, wow, that hurts here. What is this about? And that's not like the whole self-love thing. It was me exploring myself. What the hell? Like, why am I overly mad about that? Where did
Yeah.
that come from? When did I feel that before? Oh, wow. And then I'm like this, oh my gosh. And then I like close my eyes and go to that part of me when I was young going, God, boy, you've been through the ring, right? I can understand you don't have to do that anymore. I got you. I'm right here. Like talking to myself. And I remember one time my daughter Audrey, she was like 2 or 3. Now, mind you, my mom was in bed with the door locked. She never really touched me. And my dad was awesome, but beat the shit out of me when he was angry. But I remember like, I'm not beating anyone and I'm out of bed. Yeah, I'm kicking it, right? I'm doing good. And then my kid would cry and it wasn't natural for me to go, come here, baby. Like it wasn't modeled for me, but I did it. But I remember one time my daughter was crying and I was looking at her and I remember my dad would say, I'll give you something to goddamn cry about. Get your ass up and shut up.
Oh,
I kind of like,
yeah.
and I was looking at her like, and then I was like, pick her up. I was thinking my dad, I was like, yeah, I'll give you, get your ass up. I was thinking that kind of hard and I was like, no, pick her up. And I picked her up and then I was just rocking her. And then I was going like, what would it have felt like to have my mom do this? Oh my gosh. And then I pictured myself at her age and I was just holding me. She's crying. I'm bawling because I was like, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I'm going to cry right now. But it was so sweet.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned. Like, oh, wait, I can be that for myself. Like I don't need to think ever again. I wish I could have had this. If my mom would have done that, I'm like, oh no, I can do that shit today as a grown ass adult. And that became like all this healing stuff that I've done within a year. Now I just have like a party in here. Like I'm so freaking fired up about life. And it's like as I kept healing, it's almost I kept doing that work while I was married and I kept just going like waking up to this glorious shit that I hadn't even seen before that was always here. And I was like, Dave, get up here. It's amazing. And he was like, shut the hell up. Shut up with your spiritual talk. And, and I really feel like it's as much as I loved him, like he was my beloved. Oh no. Now like my headphones are dying. But as much as he was my beloved, we outgrew each other, right? I kept going and we were no longer a fit. And he had to go so low for me to let go. I never would have before,
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'll tell you something else that happens in relationships. Now, Ben Affleck got a bunch of shit for a couple weeks ago saying that would in his marriage to Jennifer Garner, if he'd have stayed in that marriage, he would have never got sober. And I know Ben, and I'm sure Jennifer Garner, by all accounts, is a great woman. But he's right, because that relationship, and this happens, you can have two great people, and then they get into a situation where, okay, you're the fuck up, I'm the hero. You are the user, I'm this. And then they keep going back to that. You're bad guy, good guy, bad guy, good guy. And, I'm not speaking for Ben, I can speak for myself. You want to get out of that.
But I was going to say, I would not say that he was right. Because the minute you point at another human being for your behavior,
yeah,
you're not owning your life. No one's responsible for our choices or what the hell we do.
I'm saying he was right about the marriage, not to point to her.
Oh.
But to say under these circumstances, because he wanted to be, Ben got sober for his kids. I will tell you, because he just wanted to be father. And sometimes you're in a relationship, and it's not about the other person can be a saint, but the relationship itself has gotten good guy, bad guy, good guy, bad guy.
Right.
And the
dad's always the good guy, by the way, because he buys shit and he doesn't do as much rules. He's more fun, right? Yeah. They want to stay at Dave's house because he put big TVs in all the bedrooms, and I don't have them here. I want their asses out talking to me in the family room. So you're
no fun.
They love Dave's. They're like, we don't have to get out of bed. We watch TV constantly. We come out and eat, and we're on our phone. I'm like,
Yeah.
Get your ass up and clean the dishes,
Yeah.
you little
It's
pig.
good you have
Not
both of
really,
them.
but yeah.
Yeah, it's good though that's
Yeah.
that you do your style and he does his style. That's that's good. Because and the kids figure out what's the best thing eventually. I again with my mom, you could drink when you're
Right?
14 with her, and it seems like sometimes, well, that's a good thing. But she also wasn't paying any attention to you. I mean,
Yeah.
she wasn't. And as you get a little older, you go, "Oh yeah, this is messed up."
And actually, the thing that causes kids to feel safe are boundaries
Yeah.
and holding them to it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
then they feel like you really care. When you do give loosey goosey, like my house was the house because you could come in the back door, the sliding glass door, and we had like a big TV and a pinball machine. And so my brother's friends were 1 year older than me, so I'd say have Jeff Mahajer spend the night, and then Pat would say have Lisa Hoganson, and we would just make out and be in the
Yeah.
basement and have a blast.
Yeah.
But my
Let me
mom
know
was
if you have a makeout party at your house now. I'll come over and we'll do
I
that.
have a sliding glass door,
Oh,
Tom.
that's nice. Yeah, well, we'll do. I'll sneak in.
Sneak in.
I
Not sure what will happen.
can't remember what making out is, but I think I have an idea.
So it's been a little while since you've made out.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fun.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's
And I have
fun.
this, and to say this too, and if someone would have told me 9 years ago what I'm about to tell you, I would have said, "Oh, that's not, the kids will never grow up." My kids have never slept in their own beds.
Right.
They have a bed. They've almost, but I have two Craftmatic beds side by side, one side has the one controls, and part of me is like they will one day, and that'll be health, that'll be fine. But
So wait,
you
you
know,
sleep in the same bed with them?
yeah,
Wow. That's like attachment parenting, but really it's just a party.
yeah.
You just all get in there and
Well, first
fall
of all,
asleep
we
together.
go. My son goes to sleep first every night, and then my daughter will do our thing. Then we'll come in and she'll get in, and then there's a little space for me. I'm last because I shower every night. I don't know when you shower, but I like to do the night showering because it's my private time because it's the only time
Yeah. It's your wind down time.
but my son gets up first too. He's gone at 6:30, 7 a.m. and then uh, but they do have bedrooms, and everybody everybody likes to have their private time during the thing. But I also feel like probably maybe is my bullshit. You go through a divorce with that much high conflict divorce, and you want to go, okay, where's I need some kind of center here, and I think that happens, and you know, that's yeah.
We're back in, Tom.
I know we are, and I have to say something about technical issues.
Tell me.
I have hearing aids, and I don't wear them because they're hooked up to Bluetooth, and my kids put their TikTok videos on my into my ear, and so I can't stop shooting me with the gun. Uh, and so yeah, technical stuff. I'm glad we're
Yeah.
back on. I'm glad we're back on.
Where were we?
I don't know. Are you
We're
kidding?
talking about making out, or were we
Yeah,
talking about,
coming into your house and make out.
yeah.
We were taught we covered so much good area. We were
Yeah.
talking about the relationships that get too much into the good guy, bad guy thing, and they can be all great people, but the relationship itself has gotten to that point
And
where
I
you
I also I love knowing that it's not good for kids to grow up, right? Without people who are loving each other. Like
yeah,
you want a model.
stop it.
Who
Yeah,
is that?
that's Jack. She put it.
Tell Jax to show himself.
Jack, show yourself.
Jax, I want to see your face.
Okay. His mom got him that gun. That is
Jax, come
the
closer. I want to
Orbeez,
see your face.
and she brought it over here to the house.
Let me
Look at
see.
this beautiful boy. And she
Hi,
brought it over here to the house.
sweetheart.
No, don't, no, no.
Don't do that in here.
I'm going to throw it in the room.
Okay, now you have to go out unless you're going to quit doing that.
Yeah, you have to go out, Jax. Okay, I'm going to throw it in
Hey,
the room.
Jax, it was nice to meet you, precious.
Okay.
I'll miss you.
Hold on. Sasha!
Sasha.
Jackson's thing. Yeah, can you believe that his mom bought that gun and brought it over here?
Well,
I mean, here's my thing with
What's
those.
bad about that? Because the
It made
violence
me
and all
laugh.
that?
She knew what was going to happen. She
Oh,
knew
because
that
it's
in the
loud?
Orbeez, because I'd been to a birthday party where they had those, the boys, and the boy host of the party was crying because people shot him in the face. So we have, we have had Nerf guns and stuff, but if boys cannot stop themselves from shooting them,
I
it's
know.
like a stick. If you give them a stick, they're going to hit something
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And it's same with these kind of guns. Like I tell them, you're outside if you want to go out there and do your stuff, but the first you come in here and do it, and then it's going to be on the roof. And there's a
That's
bunch of
right.
stuff on the roof. I can tell you,
I love that.
you know. But okay, what were you saying, Leigh?
Yeah. Well, I also want to say this just because there's been some talk about your ex, is
Yeah.
that I do want to say that
Mhm.
uh, it takes two to tango, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So every time somebody's pounding on a door,
Mhm.
she's pissed about something, right?
Mhm.
So I just want to say that because I can't even imagine things that Dave says about me. And I'm like, I'm not that bad,
Mhm.
actually.
No, I've never. He never said anything to me.
No, but I'm just saying that,
So I get that, and I get
you
that.
know,
Listen to you to Tango.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
you've been really open about your family of origin and not
yeah,
carrying that forward.
yeah,
And I think that sometimes people do that, and they get frozen. Oh, this is like
yeah,
and it's something that people like you and I have to work hard on, and other people maybe because it's not as dramatic for them, but they don't do that work, or it seems if they do that work, if they're honest about how they grew up or whatever,
right.
they're betraying people they love. And it's just
Oh,
not
right.
true. We just need
No.
to be better than the
Yeah.
last generation. And you acknowledge your dad, he did, the best he could. And you certainly you know, that you always felt loved. And, that there's the spanking and the other stuff, which we don't do, but number one is the kids feel loved,
Yeah.
and then his circumstances with your mom. I mean, it's and life things have changed too.
You know
We
what
know more.
what
We
I
know more.
love? You know
We
what I
know
love
more.
about you
Yeah.
and me is that
Yeah.
we came from a hot mess,
Hmm.
right? But we're not doing it to our kids. You know what
Right.
I mean? It's like we learn from it and we make new choices, or we see stuff we do and we don't like, when we tweak it and talk about it. That's what I love about is just talking about everything like it's nothing. Like I just talk to them, right? In a real way without trying to be anything other than this human being who loves them, who's
Well, it's
so
also
human,
you're
right?
also good because you can remember how it felt to be loved by your dad and to
Mm,
feel like special. And
mm,
and you there are good things that happened growing up that you go, oh,
great.
I that is here, that is here. I'm going to do that too. You
Mm.
know, uh, most parents are mixed at best, at least from my generation from
Oh, yeah.
back in the day. But there were things that they did that you're like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I remember that now. I know how that felt, and I want to recreate that too. So
And so often we're wired to remember. I mean, our brains are wired for the negativity, right? That spins 80,000 thoughts a day. And most of them we had yesterday and they're all crazy. But I remember like telling a story once about my childhood. And then I went to find this picture to show what I was talking about. It was like Christmas time and there was five of us. And I had this at the time there were five. And I had my gift in a full diaper and nobody was helping me open it. I was just sitting there crying and everybody's ripping, no one's paying attention. This was my thought, my story that I told. And I
mhm,
found the picture. Yeah, my diaper was full. Yeah, my present was not open. Everyone was doing stuff around me. I was looking right in the camera like this,
mhm. Yeah,
like I wasn't crying. I was going
yeah,
like this. I see the chaos. I
yeah,
got it. I'm
yeah,
good. And I go, oh, holy hell. And
yeah,
that kind of allowed me to start remembering the good.
yeah, yeah.
I was
Well,
holding all these stories, right? Of,
yeah,
of, of how bad things were. And I was like, wait a second. Yeah, my mom was mentally ill and she was an alcoholic and she struggled, but she was funny as shit.
hmm,
And I can remember all these good things started coming up where I was like remembering how much I really loved her, although I'd created my, up until I took full ownership of my life, I would blame I'm this way because my mom didn't touch me, but the truth is We can be whoever the hell we choose to be,
Hmm.
regardless. Like now, all of that feeds me good. Like it feeds me with my kids,
Hmm.
how to love them and look at them and, and connect with them, as opposed to using it as anything with victim anymore.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
all
I
a
think
blessing.
I just there's something else I learned from my grandmothers. I had one that was a lip kisser, the one that my dad's mom who ironed his underwear, and she read to me, and she was very, she
Mm,
traveled and she read, and my other grandmother, who didn't say much, but she loved being with me, and you could feel that. She
mm,
would sit next to me for hours, and we wouldn't have to talk, but whatever I was doing, like watching a game or whatever, she loved it, and she would cook for me and watch me eat, and she loved it.
mm,
And I remember my grandpa was very tough. He was a tough meat packer, big
right.
guy, and he and I got into it. And then a couple minutes later, we were in the garden in the back. He came out and said, "Tommy, your grandma was mad at me, and I'm sorry that happened." And it's like she could crush him, but just to feel
Oh,
loved, you just know when people want to be around you. That's
isn't
you
it
know that
great?
from the time you're this big. Oh, these people, and it's not what people say. It's
Mm,
really that vibe, like, oh,
it's the
they
feel. You can
like
feel it.
me,
It's
because
an energy.
a
Yeah.
lot of people don't like to be around kids. I can tell you from my experience about being a father later in life that my friends that are my age don't want to hear about it.
Right,
I've
right,
done
right,
it.
right,
So it's got to be very, because I'll talk about it for, you know, hours, but
right.
they
You
don't.
know what? I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for doing this.
I'm
Oh,
just so happy. We're going to wind down, but I'm
okay.
so happy I got to talk to you
Yeah.
because we kind of like each other from texting every once in a while, whatnot. So can we commit to getting together in person?
Yes.
Like I was talking to somebody and they're like, I just had lunch with Tom Arnold at
Yeah.
the Polo Lounge and I got pissed. And
Yeah.
I think I texted you. Someone just said they
And
had,
Lisa Guerrero.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I want lunch with you. What's happening?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can we make that
We'll do it.
happen?
I know you say something about Lisa Guerrero. She's somebody I worked with on the Best Damn Sports Show. Period. She's a correspondent for Inside Edition. She's an investigative journalist. She's beautiful. She's amazing. And so we had lunch, and whenever we have
So
lunch,
why don't you have a makeout party with her?
I'd love to. Well, I went out with her and her friends, and they're all super fun. But I think like that lunch, I started talking about these women who'd been raped at Liberty University, who I got to know via the stuff with Jerry Falwell and the pool boy, the cool boy Giancarlo Gradu. I got to know it. It led me to these 25 women whose rapes have been covered up at the college, and but we got a lawyer for them. But when she flew in, she said, "I'm on that," and she got a hold of them, and she did the first, used the Inside Edition to. That was the first time that they'd actually talked
Nice.
about it, and so, her like you and I, we're always thinking, well, what do we do to make things better?
Yeah.
And she's ballsy, man. She's like you. She's a lunatic, man. She just gets it. She's broken so many stories about these televangelists who have $60 million airplanes. Watch her YouTube. But I just love her so much. I love working with her,
Oh,
and I love you too. And I want to, we'll get together.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
I love that.
sooner than later.
And I love hearing about your parenting and how much you love your kids. It's so sweet. So they're
Yeah.
going to feel like I felt about my dad.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
of
his
course
favorite.
I love them.
Yeah.
It's the easiest job I have.
Yeah.
It's all the other
But you
stuff.
do it in a cool way.
Well,
The
I think
people's
it,
court and talking openly
yeah.
about stuff. And
Yeah, and I think that it's also good to listen for me to listen to people like you and say, "Well, this
mm,
happened, or I did this, or this is what I learned," because that's the best way. Talk to people that you respect
mm,
about their style of parenting or what
yeah,
they have learned, especially somebody now that has been through a divorce. You got to sign those papers, though. You got to get that shit over
I
with.
can't wait.
Yeah, yeah. I'll sign Dave's name. We'll
Sign
get
it
the file. He won't even know. But it's good when people's lives have been perfect, and nobody's life is perfect. But
ever.
when they don't, when it seems perfect, and by
Yeah.
the way, there are times I just want to say the last thing where I haven't heard from a friend for a long time or somebody, and I'm like, yeah, what's that deal about? Or yeah, I guess they're but usually they're dealing with something,
Yeah.
and you go, I have no idea what other people are going through today. It seems like their life is perfect, but it's not.
No,
And so it saves me going, oh, maybe it's about me. Maybe I've done
no.
something
So
or whatever.
that's our crazy spinning mind. We start making stories when we don't know something, but no, it's not true.
Yeah.
The
But
truth
yet,
is they're going you know what I love too is that everyone's going through shit always because we're human, right?
yeah,
So when I walk into any party, I don't care what it is or who's there, what they're wearing, or how highfalutin it is. It's the great equalizer.
right.
We all got shit.
Right, right. That's very true. Especially the last 2 years with the COVID stuff too, and all the other stuff. But I've considered it a blessing because I've been got to spend so much time with my kids and
Yeah.
homeschool.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me.
Yeah, no, I consider it, but I just thought to myself, I need to make an effort to see you face to face
Yeah, let's do that.
because I'm a person that will just, oh yeah, I'll see you at work. We'll
Yeah.
see you when the. So let's do that.
I'm actually going to make it happen. When we
Okay.
hang up, we're going to pick a day and get together in
All right.
person.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.